First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to say all of you are welcome and good morning to this residence, which our young people now have changed its name to the Truthful Mansion. And I trust you have had a cup of tea, and I want to thank you for waking up very early in the morning and getting here even before we got up. Most welcome. The UN family, it's a great morning to meet you in Kenya and top government officials to take stock of the year 2023 and focus on the outlook for the year 2024. This is critical for the government of Kenya and the entire UN family. Such an occasion gives visibility around achievements and priorities for both parties at the highest level. It is also a moment to recommit to our mutual accountability. From the outset, I assure you that the government of Kenya, under the leadership of His Excellency President William Ruto, is taking great strides in setting the stage for a new agenda for Kenya. A Kenya where persistent inequalities and poverty are addressed by lifting those at the bottom of the espoused in our philosophy of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda better. I'm pleased to note that the UN Cooperation Framework for Kenya supports, reinforces, and aligns with our administration's main development priorities for the economy and society. In particular, the UN Kenya's focus on public-private partnerships, the push for job creation, support for the youth, and the green transition of Kenya's economic development. The government is driving the agenda of all entities to deliver a whole government approach for the good of our people. This ambition corresponds with that of the UN family to deliver by pooling resources for more transformative impact of the UN activities in Kenya. I recognize and welcome that UN Kenya is moving away from smaller individual agency projects to a more joint UN action with the pooled funding. Further, I commend the UN Kenya for the strategic set of joint programs being developed by line ministries and UN entities together with a wide range of stakeholders. These UN-supported joint programs cover priorities that go hand in glove with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda and the recently launched MT4. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen from the UN family and from our government, together we build a Kenya with a conducive environment for public and private sector to work together through innovative partnerships. A Kenya where economic development is not a short-sighted and linear, but on sound management of natural resources in an increasingly circular economy within the planetary boundaries. A climate-positive economic growth and development trajectory to ensure continued economic growth that is sustainable for generations to come. A Kenya where young people find meaningful jobs, where poverty is reduced and income more evenly distributed. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the long-term impact of COVID-19 on the economy and the devastating drought occasioned by the 5 consecutive failed rainy seasons, followed by the devastating El Nino flooding in 2023 into 2024, reinforce the long-standing urgency for bolstering food security, humanitarian response, and resilience. Notably, we had a great joint response by the UN on a number of key areas. the UN played a key role supporting with a blend of food and cash-based transfers and community vouchers. And I must say, Resident Coordinator and your team, I had just come into office during this very difficult time, and you held my hand and showed me around. Because I had just come from the bush, I didn't know how to go around this space. And you are there for me as a person, because it was a very difficult time for the country, and the UN family was not just present, but very pronounced in the response, and were able to save lives. Additionally, Kenya is at the forefront of the global climate emergency, contending with the dramatic and damaging impacts of the people in the arid and semi-arid lands. As government, we appreciate the strategic support UN offered to Kenya in successfully hosting the African Climate Summit here in Nairobi. Looking ahead, we are glad that this year we have a nexus on strategic areas of collaboration and partnership based on priorities and mandate of the UN agencies and also the Kenya Kwanza Plan in 2024 and beyond. It is indeed gratifying that we speak the same language about lifting those at the bottom who represent the absolute majority of the Kenyan people. The better emphasizes the leave no one behind clarion call, which is right at the core of the UN cooperation framework for Kenya, in line with the Sustainable Development Goals of Agenda 2030. Lifting those farthest behind is where UN has excelled, particularly women and girls, children and youth, and people in urban informal settlements are nationwide groups at risk of being left behind. And I will be urging the UN family also to now consider the boy child as well, who is in trouble. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the UN Kenya presents its results for the year 2023 and its outlook for 2024, I want to assure you of the continued support of my office and that of my boss, President William Ruto. The International Development Partnerships Coordination Unit is now up and running. It will continue to work with the UN and all development partners to enhance the coordination of all our efforts so that we demonstrate impact on the Kenyan people. I give you the government's commitment to partnering with the UN Kenya in the spirit of leaving no one behind and towards a dignified life for every Kenyan. I look forward to a very, very fruitful engagement this morning. Asanteni sana na karibuni. So the UN family, this is your home, and we don't take for granted the programs that you have for our beautiful country. And again, I remain forever indebted to all of you for the support that you gave us when we had the worst drought in 40 years. I don't know what we would have done without your support and interventions. Again, we are very excited by the ongoing plans to enhance the UN presence in this country by enlarging the facilities at Gigiri so that UN can be very strong in the global south here in Nairobi. Nairobi remains a good destination. We have a very secure environment. For the last 2 years, our security has been upgraded to the highest level possible anywhere in the world. We have no incidents of terrorism. We have no incidents of mugging, carjacking, bank robberies. Nairobi is as safe as New York, as Geneva. So we are really looking forward to fast-tracking that program to enhance and upgrade the UN facilities in Gigiri so that this can be the diplomatic center of the UN in the global south. And we are always looking forward. And for those of you who serve here, when your time comes to retire, there's no need to go back to where you came from. You can retire here. It's a good place. Our people are very hospitable. Our people are warm. They are lovely people. They are good people. I don't know why you want to go and live elsewhere. You can just live here.